is Channel 2 News at noon.
Good afternoon. You're about to see an undercover videotape of a person whose job it is to oversee children's education. But he's accused of giving lessons in bribery instead.
It's connected with a report this noon detailing corruption in a Bronx school district. Channel 2's Marcia Kramer has the very latest now from downtown Manhattan on how board members are accused of brokering power.
Well, Lisa, School District 12 in the Bronx has one of the worst academic records in the city. It ranked next to the last year in math scores and second from the bottom in reading. But prosecutors said today that's hardly a surprise, since many of the school board members were not that concerned with the 3 R's. Their emphasis seemed to be on the 3 P's: politics, patronage, and payoffs.
How you come to know that I would take money for principal jobs?
I mean, look, I've been around a long time. Nobody said it. Nobody said it. But it's just I've been around a long time, and I know.
As amazing as it may seem, that's an undercover videotape of a woman, Virginia Noville, who is trying to become principal at Community School 214 in the Bronx. She is paying an installment on what prosecutors said was an $8,000 to $10,000 bribe she agreed to pay to a local school board member to grease the skids to get the post. Unfortunately, prosecutors say, politics, payoffs, and patronage are the lifeblood of District 12, where many board members are commonly called godfather and godmother, and their political appointees their pieces.
We found a place where the most powerful members are referred to as godfathers and godmothers, and the educators they control are referred to as their pieces.
Among Stanczyk's findings are that a school board member was bribed for a principalship. School board members threw a fundraiser and pocketed the profits. Board members choose principals in secret backroom deals. An extensive patronage mill existed where school district jobs were given to political cronies, friends, and relatives. And finally, principals and assistant principals were forced to work on board members' political campaigns in order to protect their jobs.
This system puts horrible pressure on educators to do the political and personal favors for the board members.
Mayor Dinkins, who attended the press conference, said he was appalled.
These are serious breaches of public trust and a shameful subversion of the notion that our children should be served by the best possible educators and administrators.
Well, elections for school board members in all 32 school districts occur on Tuesday. Prosecutors say today that today's revelation should add a new element in those elections, that voters should consider corruption along with the candidates' positions on the issues. Reporting live from the Special Prosecutor's Office in downtown Manhattan, I'm Marcia Kramer. Now back to the studio.
Thank you, Marcia. Police have a mystery on their hands this noon after a dead woman was discovered at a Midtown Manhattan hotel. 24-year-old Marie Danielle of Brooklyn was found last night in a room at the Grand Hyatt just steps from Grand Central Terminal. A sergeant says the woman had no visible wounds and there was no sign of foul play. Detectives are hoping an autopsy will give them more information.
The Manhattan tennis coach, whose fatal obsession led to his suicide, was apparently driven not by a sexual fantasy, but by a fantasy of having a family. Gary Wallensky killed himself last Friday after trying and failing to kidnap his tennis student, Jennifer Rhodes. Police say Wallensky used expensive high-tech surveillance equipment to track her and kept hundreds of pictures of her. But yesterday, police also found audio tapes of letters Wallensky had written, including one to the Rhodes family in which he apologized for his obsession and said he just wanted to be part of a family.
Please accept my apology for everything wrong I've done. I pray every night to a God I want to believe in for Jen's health, peace, and happiness. I loved you all, and I'm just a lonely man who lost his way.
Wallensky sent the letter 3 days after he had been fired by the Rhodes family. Dana?
Joey Buttafuoco is back in the news this noon, but instead of Amy Fisher, another Long Island teenage girl is making the accusations, this time about underage sex. With more on this exclusive report, Channel 2's Long Island correspondent Troy Roberts joins us live from outside Buttafuoco's auto body shop in Baldwin. Troy.
Well, thank you, Dana. Joey Buttafuoco was at work this morning at his auto body shop, not terribly interested in talking about these new allegations from another young woman. Stories about his numerous alleged sexual escapades beyond Amy Fisher have been circulating for months now, and again his wife Mary Jo speaks out in his defense. The new allegations against Joey Buttafuoco are raised by yet another self-admitted young prostitute. The Long Island girl, whose identity is concealed, talked to the TV program Hard Copy, detailing an 8-month sexual relationship with the auto mechanic while she was 16 and 17 years old.
Did you have sexual relations with Joey Buttafuoco for about 8 months?
Yes.
The girl says she first met Buttafuoco at the Freeport Motor Inn and Motel, the same motel where Amy Fisher claims she had sex with Buttafuoco when she was under the legal age. The young woman told Hard Copy that Buttafuoco paid for sex.
Did Joseph Buttafuoco pay you on numerous occasions to have sexual intercourse with him?
Yes.
Not guilty.
Buttafuoco was charged 2 weeks ago with the statutory rape of Amy Fisher. The married teenager claims she had an affair with Buttafuoco from the summer of 1991 up to the weeks that she shot his wife, Mary Jo. Joey Buttafuoco, working at his auto body shop this morning, had no comment about the new allegations, but Mrs. Buttafuoco, who's still recovering from her injuries, remains supportive of her husband.
It's a lot of hogwash. It's another Amy wannabe that's coming forward and claiming that, you know, she was with Joe. It's baloney. It's so ridiculous. I can't believe Hard Copy paid this person money to say this stuff. It's just another attempt at Joe bashing.
Nassau County prosecutors are under a court order not to talk to the media, but sources say the DA's office is interested in talking to this young woman as the prosecution team prepares for Buttafuoco's statutory rape trial. That's it from Baldwin, Long Island. I'm Troy Roberts reporting live. Let's go back to Lisa in the studio.
Thank you, Troy. People who frequent New York City's sex clubs may soon find a city health officer looking over their shoulder. The health department has trained about a dozen inspectors to make sure clubs are enforcing the rules about safe sex. Sex clubs are legal, but they must hire monitors to stop practices which can cause AIDS. Health officials estimate there are about 50 sex clubs in New York City.
Mayor Dinkins says his plan to make New York City's streets safer is more than a year ahead of schedule. Today he called for hiring another 4,700 police officers by next February, bringing the force to a record high of 38,000 officers. Under the original schedule for the Safe Streets, Safe City program, that level was not supposed to have been reached until 1995.
Still ahead, we'll explain why a popular weight loss program is being forced to trim down.
Why a low-fat diet may not be lowering your cholesterol. And Frank Field takes a look at a new treatment for a medical condition that takes a high emotional toll on patients.
Channel 2 News, sponsored by Sanka.
Sometimes I wish I could have been a grandmother to my own kids. Grandmothers don't get back talk. We get hugs. We tell stories, give out lollipops. And when you're a grandmother, you've got time for an uninterrupted cup of coffee.
It's nice to have the time to appreciate the smooth, rich taste of Sanka coffee.
And after the little ones give me all that joy, they go home.
Sanka, everything you love about coffee.
Now on video cassette, a deliciously funny comedy starring Academy Award winners Kathy Bates.
I was waiting for that space. Face it, lady, we're younger and faster.
And Jessica Tandy.
You get yourself some hormones.
What are you doing? Face it, girls. I'm older and I have more insurance.
How many of them hormones you taking, honey?
Mary Stuart Masterson and Mary Louise Parker. Fried green tomatoes, now just $19.98 from MCA Universal Home Video.
His wife had affairs.
Have you ever slept with Tammy?
Yes, I have.
Did you sleep with Tammy?
Yes.
His wife had children from affairs.
How many of your 7 children are your husband's children?
I don't know that any of them are.
Now, he's raising the children his wife had from affairs.
And they all call me Dad, and I take care of all of them.
Can a family survive when you're raising the children from affairs? Only on Geraldo.
Today at 4 on Channel 2.
Presenting the managers of many of the most modern supermarkets in the area. At A&P, the great store just next door. Most of our stores have been remodeled during the past few years, so while they may look about the same outside, inside you'll discover modern stores that are great places to shop. Stop by one of the most modern supermarkets around, your neighborhood A&P.
The great store just next door, A&P.
It's spring break, and where is everybody? in Lake Edna for the Colonel's spring break at KFC.
Everybody's loving KFC's new snack attack. Honey barbecue flavored wings pieces, hot wings pieces, and new spicy chicken bites. Choose your KFC favorite or try all 3 in one awesome snack attack pack for one awesome price of $4.99.
A great deal for everyone. Well, almost everyone.
A popular weight loss center is being forced to do some downsizing of its own. 1/4 of Nutrisystem's diet centers nationwide are being closed, and about 1,800 workers were told not to go to work today. A bank seized the company's cash during restructuring talks. Locations in New York could be affected, but not in New Jersey or Connecticut. Nutrisystem officials say arrangements have been made for franchises to keep on getting diet food.
In today's Noon Health Watch, a new study which says a low-fat diet may not be as good for you as you think. The study in the New England Journal of Medicine found that people who cut their fat intake lowered their cholesterol slightly, while people who took a new medication called lovastatin reduced their cholesterol a lot. And what came as a surprise to doctors, those on the pill did about as well whether they ate a low-fat diet or not. This study was funded by the company which makes the pill lovastatin.
There's a new hope for disfiguring in a very painful condition which affects thousands of people. It's called lymphedema, and it can sometimes follow surgery. Frank Field has details now on a new treatment which is turning lives around.
Susan Jerod is a model. That's her to the left on the cover of New York Magazine. Susan is also an actress. She's appearing as an extra on the soap opera As the World Turns. But Susan has lymphedema, a problem that affects over 2.5 million Americans. It's a gross swelling of the arms or legs. When it affects the leg, lymphedema makes it difficult to walk. It can have a devastating impact on a patient's lifestyle. Lymphedema is not only disfiguring, but quite painful. It can turn an arm into a useless appendage, and that's what happened to Susan.
About a year after my mastectomy, I became aware of this severe swelling of my arm, and it became a severe encumbrance in my day-to-day life. I could not lift things. I was conscious of having a physical deformity. Strangers would stop me and ask what happened.
What happened to Susan was lymphedema. Along with blood circulation in the body, lymph, which is a clear fluid, has its own circulation, from the legs and arms upward toward the heart. But if there is a blockage in the circulation, such as removal of lymph nodes after breast surgery, as was the case with Susan, lymph backs up, causing a grotesque swelling of the arm. Or if it's a leg that's affected because of injury, surgery, or the patient may be born with the problem, the resulting blocked lymph flow leads to a leg that may swell to enormous proportions. Most treatments for lymphedema, ranging from the use of pressure pumps to other forms of therapy, generally don't work. But fortunately, there now is an option. It's called CDP, Complete Decongestive Physiotherapy, and that's what has changed Susan's and other lymphedema patients' lives.
We can reduce the patient's arms or legs to normal or near normal within 1 to 4 weeks.
Developed in Germany, CDP consists of 4 steps. First, trained therapists use massage, forcing lymph toward the heart. Second, lotions are used to protect the skin from infection that lymphedema patients are prone to. Third, wrapping the arm or leg with non-stretching linen bandages to prevent the lymph from pooling again. And finally, exercises to work the muscles and increase the lymph flow. Is CDP effective?
I could show both arms to someone and they'd be hard-pressed to tell which one it was, and I hadn't expected that complete a recovery.
Okay, word on how our country's economy is faring, that is still ahead.
And we'll have ways to protect your family and your possessions when you vacation next.
On this President Clinton's 100th day in office, there are new figures out today on the nation's economy showing a slowdown. The federal government says the gross domestic product, which measures total output of goods and services, grew only 1.8% during the first quarter of this year. During the last quarter of last year, the economy shot up nearly 5%. But there is some good news on the economic front here in New York. Governor Cuomo announced this morning that the Dress Barn Company is moving its headquarters from Stamford to Suffern, New York. The governor says it will mean about 800 new jobs for the Rockland County community.
If you're planning on taking a summer vacation, part of your plans should include some safety precautions. It's probably the last thing you want to think about, but it happens. You can lose money, valuables, even risk your life if you don't protect yourself. Tyler Matheson of Money Magazine is here now with some safety tips. There's been a lot of attention on this, especially with the situation down in Florida.
There really has been. A lot of people, when they go on vacation, they leave their sort of street smarts at home, and you'd think you couldn't tell New Yorkers just about anything about travel safety, that we're all street smart and so forth, but in truth there's some things that you should do because travel crime is on the rise. Let's look at some things that will help you as you travel. Be alert to travel scams. A lot of telemarketers are calling people, asking them what they want to do is give them a free trip, they say, but what they really want is your credit card number. Deal only with travel agents that you choose, ones you know, not travel agents who purport to choose you. Limit the number of credit cards you carry when you travel, and certainly try to give a list of those cards, their card numbers, to a friend or associate before you leave. Or you can sign up for one of these services that if your cards are stolen, you make one phone call and all of your cards are canceled.
Also, traveler's checks.
Traveler's checks can be a good way to go instead of carrying a lot of cash. Check your health and automobile coverage to make sure that it will cover you, let's say, if you go out of the country. A lot of health insurance plans, for example, stop at the U.S. borders. Be smart on the highway. That's a real key here when carjackings are on the rise. Plan your route beforehand. Carjackers obviously watch people who are stopped at stoplights, checking maps and so forth. Don't stop for disabled motorists. Know about hotel security. Accept no hotel room that doesn't have double deadbolts and peepholes so that you can see people who are coming to your room. And certainly don't accept any unexpected deliveries. That would be a way that people get scammed and sometimes get held up.
You know, one thing that struck me with the murder of that German tourist, the mother who was killed, she got stuck in the wrong section of town, and it seemed to me, you know, she really should have asked for more careful instructions from the airport when she rented her car. I mean, I think a lot of people don't think about that.
People need to plan their routes ahead of time, and what happened in this case was that the carjackers actually bumped her car, involving her in a minor accident. If this happens to you and you're at all suspicious, drive to a safe, well-lighted place where there are people around before you start to get out of your car and discuss the accident with the motorist who is involved. Put your flashers on so that the person doesn't think you're trying to leave the scene.
Right. Tyler, thank you. You can never be too careful.
That's right.
Coming up next, the forecast.
Frank will let us know if all this sunny weather will shine on through the weekend. To update our top stories for you on this Thursday noon, there are accusations of widespread corruption at a Bronx school district. Prosecutors say this undercover videotape shows a prospective principal at Bronx School District number 12 paying a bribe to a school board member. School District 12 had one of the lowest academic records in the city last year. And another Long Island teenager is now accusing Joey Buttafuoco of statutory rape. The girl tells the tabloid show Hard Copy that she had sex with Buttafuoco when she was underage and was paid for it. Buttafuoco is already facing charges of having underage sex with Amy Fisher.
Here's Frank Field with a look at the weather creeping up on the weekend here. Gorgeous out there today.
It's not creeping, it's just coming right in
It's just
here.
coming, like it or not.
Okay, we can't get, it's just nice weather, and we expect it to stay with us a while. I think you'll enjoy it. Temperatures today will get up over 70 degrees, so look forward to a lovely afternoon. Right now, here are the readings in Midtown. 61 degrees, so we're warming up rapidly. The humidity is 24%. The ridge of dry air that's moving in will keep us in good shape, and off to the west there are some showers, but they're sort of hanging off, so we're not going to expect much of a change. We expect that temperatures will gradually warm up. We're dominated by an increasingly southwesterly flow of air, and back in here, this is where that line of showers has been sitting for the last couple of days, showing very little movement. Everything seems to be slipping up to the northeast, so there we are. All that rain that we had, well, it's sitting out there in the Atlantic. It's not moving. It's acting as a block, so you see the next weather system simply can't seem to advance. It just keeps drifting to the northeast. So we're in good shape right into the weekend, and we expect to have generally fair skies today. Temperatures will get up into the 70s, a lot cooler along the shoreline where the winds blow in off the ocean because the water is still quite chilly. Tonight, well, fairly mild compared to the last couple of nights, and then tomorrow, some more of that nice weather. We expect a mixture of sunshine and clouds, and Saturday, just about the same. Sunday, even nicer with some more dry air moving in. So all in all, some nice weather.
Great, thanks. Geraldo joins us now for a preview of what's happening on his show this afternoon. But before we get to that, Geraldo, I know you've been following the Joey Buttafuoco story.
Indeed,
today. More about another teenager claiming that she had sex with him when she was underage.
We're investigating her allegations, and I can report to you that we believe there are 2 other teenagers. I don't think anyone else has reported that yet. There are 2 other teenagers now claiming to have had sex for money with Joey Buttafuoco, and that will be the subject of a future episode of our program.
Story doesn't go away.
It certainly does not.
What's on today?
Well, today is one of the most bizarre family situations you'll ever see. You're about to meet, ladies and gentlemen, Tammy and Paul, who've been married for 12 years. Now, Tammy likes to have children. She has 7 of them. She also likes to have affairs.
And how many of your 7 children are your husband's children?
I don't know that any of them are.
I've known Paul and Tammy since they first got together.
Did you sleep with Tammy?
Yes.
Have you ever slept with Tammy?
Yes, I have.
Are you the father of any of Tammy's children?
Yes.
Do you know Paul?
Yeah, he's my brother. The affair with my brothers were after we were married.
Your brothers? Tammy's had sex with more than one brother? Tammy?
Yes.
How many of his brothers have you had sex with?
4.
Yes, she said 4. You'll also meet Tammy and Paul's friend Bill on today's show. Bill admits that he also slept with Tammy, but he says only after getting Paul, the husband's, permission. As for Tammy, she told us it's actually very convenient for her to have affairs with her husband's brothers because, in her words, quote, "I don't get out much," end quote.
And her husband knew about it.
Or knew about it, obviously, and even condoned it. It's quite a wacky household.
And what about kids?
Well, the 7 children,
Right.
7 fathers, apparently.
Oh, my
None
goodness.
her husbands.
Okay.
Or at least none she knows for sure.
You can see more of that one on Geraldo at 4 o'clock here on Channel 2.
And that'll do it for us today on this Thursday. I'm Lisa Rudolph.
I'm Dana Tyler. Enjoy your day.
Dial a mattress for a
father with a lot of bills to pay.